Hello everybody, nice to meet you. Our read word of God, Exodus chapter 13. Let's read it together. The Lord said to Moses, "Consecrate to me every firstborn male, the first offspring of every womb among the Israelites belong to me, whether man or animal." Then Moses said to the people, "Commemorate this day, the day you came out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. Because the Lord brought you out of it with a mighty hand, and nothing contained it. Today in the month of Aviv you are living. When the Lord brings you into the land of Canaanites, Hittites, Amorites, Hivites, and Jebusites, the land He swore to your forefathers to give you, a land flowing with milk and honey. You are to observe this ceremony in this month. For 7 days it bread made without yeast, and on the 7th day hold a festival to the Lord. Eat unleavened bread during these 7 days. Nothing with yeast in it is to be seen among you, nor shall any yeast be even anywhere within your brothers. On that day tell your son, I do this because of what the Lord did for me when I came out of Egypt. This observance will be for you like a sign on your hand and a reminder on your forehead that the Lord of the law is to be on your lips. For the Lord brought you out of Egypt with His mighty hand. You must keep this ordinance at the appointed time, year after year. After the Lord brings you into the land of Canaanites and gives it to you, as He promised on oath to you and your forefathers, you are to give over to the Lord the first offspring of every womb. All the firstborn males of your livestock belong to the Lord. Redeem with the ram every firstborn donkey, but if you do not redeem it, break its neck. Redeem every firstborn among your sons. In days to come, when your son asks you, what does this mean? Say to him, with a mighty hand the Lord brought us out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. When Pharaoh stubbornly refused to let go, the Lord killed every firstborn in Egypt, both man and animal. This is why I sacrifice to the Lord the first male offspring of every womb and redeem each of the firstborn sons. And it will be like a sign on your land and a symbol on your forehead that the Lord brought us out of Egypt with His mighty hand. When Pharaoh let the people go, God did not lead them on the road through the Philistine country. Though there was slaughter, for God said, if they face war, they might change their minds and return to Egypt. So God led the people around the wide desert road toward the Red Sea. The Israelites went up out of Egypt armed for Pharaoh. Moses took the bones of Joseph with his because Joseph had made the sons of Israel swear on us. He has said, God will surely come to your aid, and then you must carry my bones up with you from this place. After leaving Sukkot, they camped at Adam on the edge of the desert. By day the Lord went ahead of them in a pillar cloud to guide them on their way, and by night in a pillar of fire to give them light, so that they could travel by day or night. Neither the pillar of cloud by the nor the pillar of the fire by night left its place in front of the people. Exodus chapter 13, verses 1 through 22. Thank you. Hello everybody, nice to meet you. Our read of Exodus chapter 14. Let's read it together. Then the Lord said to Moses, tell the Israelites to turn back and encamp near Beirut, between Migdol and the sea. They are to encamp by the sea, directly opposite Beelzebub. Pharaoh will think, the Israelites are wandering around the land in confusion, hemmed in by the desert. And I will harden Pharaoh's heart, and he will pursue them. But I will gain glory for myself through Pharaoh and all his army. And Egyptians will know that I am the Lord. So the Israelites did this. When the king of Egypt was told that the people had fled, Pharaoh and his officials changed their minds about them and said, "What have we done? We have let the Israelites go and have lost their services." So he had his chariot made ready and took his army with him. He took 600 of his best chariots along with all the other chariots of Egypt, with officials of all of them. The Lord hardened the heart of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, so that he pursued the Israelites who were marching out boldly. The Egyptians, all Pharaoh's horses and chariots, horsemen, and troops, pursued the Israelites and overtook them as they encamped by the sea near Beirut, opposite Baal-Zebulun. As Pharaoh approached, the Israelites looked up, and there was Egypt marching after them. They were terrified and cried out of the Lord. They said to Moses, "What is because there were no grave in Egypt that you brought us to the desert to die? What have we done to us that bring us out of Egypt? Didn't we say to you in Egypt, 'Leave us alone, let us serve the Egyptians'? It would have been better for us to serve the Egyptians than to die in the desert." Moses answered the people, "Do not be afraid. Stand firm, and you will see the deliverance the Lord will bring you today. The Egyptians you see today will never sin again. The Lord will fight for you. You need only to be still." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Why are you crying out to me? Tell the Israelites to move on. Raise your staff and stretch out your hand over the sea to divide the water, so that Israel can go through the sea on dry ground. I will harden the heart of the Egyptians so that they will go in after them. And I will gain glory through Pharaoh and all his army, through his chariots and his horsemen. The Egyptians will know that I am the Lord, when I gain glory through Pharaoh, his chariots, and his horsemen." Then the angel of God, who had been traveling in front of Israel's army, withdrew and went behind them. The Pharaoh crowd also moved them from in front and stood behind them. Coming between the armies of Egypt and Israel, throughout the night the crowd brought darkness to one side and light to the other side, so neither went near to other or light wrong. Then Moses stretched out his hands over the sea, and all that night the Lord drove the sea back with a strong east wind and turned it into dry land. The waters were divided. And Israel went through the sea on dry ground, with a wall of water on their right and on their left. The Egyptians pursued them, and all Pharaoh's horses and chariots and horsemen followed them into the sea. During the last watch of the night, the Lord looked down from the field and crowded at the Egyptians' army and threw it into confusion. He made the field of their chariots come over so that they difficulty driving, and Egyptians said, "Let's get away from Israel. The Lord is fighting for them against Egypt." Then the Lord said to Moses, "Stretch out your hands over the sea so that the water may flow back over the Egyptians and their chariots and horsemen." Moses stretched out his hand over the sea, and at daybreak the sea went back to its place. The Egyptians were fleeing toward it, and the Lord swept them into the sea. The water flowed back and covered the chariots and horsemen. The entire army of Pharaoh that had followed Israel into the sea. Not one of them survived. But the Israelites went through the sea on dry ground with a wall of water on their right and on their left. That day the Lord saved Israel from the hands of the Egyptians, and Israel saw the Egyptians lying dead on the shore. And when the Israelites saw the great power the Lord displayed against the Egyptians, the people feared the Lord and put their trust in Him and in Moses His servant. Exodus chapter 14, verses 1 through 31. Thank you. Hello everybody, nice to meet you. Our little word we got Exodus chapter 15. Let's read it together. Then Moses and the Israelites sang this song to the Lord. I will sing to the Lord, for He is highly exalted. The horse and its rider He has hurled into the sea. The Lord is my strength and my song. He has become my salvation. He is my God, and I will praise Him. My father's God, and I will exalt Him. The Lord is a warrior. The Lord is His name. Pharaoh's chariots and his army He has hurled into the sea. The best of Pharaoh's officials are drowned into the Red Sea. The deep waters has covered them. They sank to the depths like a stone. Your right hand, O Lord, was majesty in power. Your right hand, O Lord, shattered the enemy. In the greatness of your majesty, you threw down those who oppose you. You unleashed your burning anger. It consumed them like a stubble. By the blast of your nostrils, the waters filed up. The surging water stood firm like a wall. The deep waters congealed in the heart of the sea. The enemy boasted, I will crush you. I will overtake them. I will divide the spoils. I will gorge myself on them. I will draw my sword, and my hands will destroy them. But you flew with your breath, and the sea covered them. They sank like lead in the mighty waters. Who among the gods is like you, O Lord? Who is like you? Majesty in holiness, awesome in glory, working wonders. You stretch out your right hand, and the earth swallowed them. In your unfailing love, you will lead the people you have redeemed in your strength. You will guide them to your holy dwelling. The nations will hear and tremble. Anguish will grip the people of Philistia. The chiefs of Edom will be terrified. The leaders of Moab will be seized with a tremble. The people of Canaan will melt away. Terror or dread will fall upon them. By the power of your arm, they will be as still as stones, until your people pass by, O Lord, until the people you brought pass by. You will bring them in and plant them on the mountain of your inheritance place, O Lord, you made for your dwelling. The sanctuary, O Lord, your hands established. The Lord will reign forever and ever. When Pharaoh's horses, chariots, and horsemen went into the sea, the Lord brought the waters of the sea back over them, but the Israelites walked through the sea on dry ground. Then Miriam the prophetess, Aaron's sister, took a tambourine in her hand, and all the women followed her with tambourines and dancing. Miriam sang to them, Sing to the Lord, for He is highly exalted. The horse and its rider He has hurled into the sea. Then Moses led Israel from the Red Sea, and they went into the desert of Shur, For 3 days they traveled in the desert without finding water. Then they came to Mara. They could not drink its water because it was bitter. That is why the place is called Mara. So the people grumbled against Moses, saying, "What are we to drink?" Then Moses cried out to the Lord, and the Lord showed him a place of wood. He threw it into the water, and the water became sweet. There the Lord made a decree and law for them, and there has tested them. He said, "If you listen carefully to the voice of the Lord your God, and do what is right in his eyes, if you pay attention to his commands, and keep his decrees, I will not bring on your way on the disease I brought on the Egyptians, for I am the Lord who heals you." Then they came to Elim, where there were 12 springs and 70 palm trees, and they camped there near the water. Exodus chapter 15, verses 1 through 27. Thank you.